Tonight's species is for sure an offshore favorite. This fish has beautiful colors and is known for its ability to jump. Another fun fact is that this fish is definitely Brie's favorite offshore fish. Tonight we're talking about the dolphin here on the Florida Insider Fishing Report, which starts right now.
Welcome to the Florida Insider Fishing Report, presented by Yamaha.
This is the Florida Insider Fishing Report, and we're your hosts, Brie Gabrielle and Captain Rick Murphy, coming to you with the best show of the season, in my humble opinion. Not only do we have our amazing sponsors, Caddy Can and What Are We Smoking in the house, but we have the best live studio audience for my absolute most hands-down favorite species of them all, dolphin. Rick, I need a breath. Talk to us while I contain myself. I'm so excited.
I think one of the reasons why this fish is certainly one of the offshore favorites is they're really aggressive. They can be caught by kids as well as adults right on up through the age bracket. But everybody always remembers how beautiful they are, and certainly those big jumps when they're screaming off drag.
They're a perfect fish, in my opinion.
Yes, they are.
Okay, well, to make matters even better, we have the one, the only R&R, aka Mahi Magnet, aka Ray Rocher, joining Dave Farrell at the CCA workbench. Dave, you're stealing money again, aren't you?
Yeah, because, you know, Ray can just talk and talk and talk about any fish, let alone a dolphin fish. So I'm just going to wind him up, toss him a few bones, and let him hit it out of the park, hopefully. There's a lot of metaphors mixed in there.
There were, but you're always good for one of those. All right, well, Dave, you always say the ocean is a big, vast nothingness, and our first captain in the Fish Bites East region, Captain Mike Holliday, seems to agree. Just cover a lot of water, and you'll find a mahi. Talk to us, Mike.
That's kind of the key right now. You know, we had an amazing May, and June has kind of slowed down a little bit, so you just got to get out there and cover water and look for areas that hold fish, like rips, weed lines, edges, floating debris, diving birds, anything like that. Sadly, the best way to do that is burn a lot of gas, either running until you find something good and pitching or trolling baits around it, or fishing fast with feathers and strip baits like a R&R tackle Mahi Magnet. You do that just to cover the most water. Lately, there's been no problem finding weed lines. They're everywhere. So you want to get out early, be the first ones to that weed line. And I mean, even in 50 feet of water, there's a lot of dolphins showing up. Then if you don't, get on a weed line, you don't find it really quickly, keep moving until you find weed lines that have a lot of bait fish on them or life on them. When you find a fish, stay on that weed line. Keep the fish in the water, try and draw other fish to the boat. The average dolphin right now is like 8 to 15 pounds, but we're still seeing 30 pounders and some really good fish. I got a photo that Captain Butch Constable sent me. They found a nice school of dolphin, all that size in 210 feet of water, and they plucked 3 fish off that weed line using live pilchards. The other bite we got going, the kingfish bite, continues throughout the region. There's some really big smokers in the mix, particularly on the beach during the west wind days. We'll probably see that every single morning this week. Places like the Kingfish Hole off Hope Sound, the Shark Barge, the Toilet Reef, the Vero Cove, all those areas hold fish on in west wind. You also want to work the bait schools that are in close to the beach, in like 30 feet of water in the mornings and in the afternoons. That's when they seem to get a lot of those big smokers on them, as well as the deeper stuff like the Loran Tower Ledge and the 6 Mile Reef and the edge of the reef off of Jupiter. By far the best bait has been a Spanish sardine, either slow trolled live on a number 4 wire stinger rig or drifted dead on a triple hook Palm Beach rig. Other good baits include thread fins, goggle eyes, or blue runners. The average king right now is 15 to 30 pounds. A lot of fish that are 40 pounds or more. I got a photo of a really good one. There's a big king that ate a live goggle eye in 120 feet of water off Jupiter. Captain Butch Constable also sent me that photo.
Nice. Let's go ahead and go inshore, bud.
Well, Tropical Storm Alex kicked up the surf. That's made it difficult to get to the migrating tarpon schools that are out there on the beach. But there's plenty of fish on the inside in the inlets, as well as up in the Loxahatchee River on the Boy Scout camp, and in the St. Lucie River up near the St. Lucie Locks and around Club Med, and then again in the Indian River near Big Mud Creek and all the inlets. Around the inlets and up in the rivers, the fish are focused on chasing mullet. But, they'll eat anything from a live shrimp to a thread fin or a bunker or even dead baits on the bottom. What you really want to do is put out a couple of live baits behind the boat on 60-pound fluorocarbon leader and a 7/0 trocar circle hook. Then at the same time, put someone in the bow casting at the rolling fish, either with a live bait like a live mullet or a saltwater assassin Houdini colored sea shad. Just throw it out, reel it very slowly. The bite's going to be like a little tap, set the hook, and you'll put the tarpon in the air. Average tarpon right now is like 30 to 80 pounds. The other inshore bite revolves around the water quality. In the Indian River right now, the water quality's been amazing. That's helped ramp up the sea trout bite around the docks and around the shorelines. Basically, in St. Lucie and Indian River counties, from about Savannah Road all the way up to the 25th Street Causeway and Vero Beach. If you can find some areas of grass growing, like around the double bars off Middle Cove, around Bear Point or Queens Cove, or around the Harbor Branch area and those little spoil islands that are out in front of Harbor Branch, find the areas that have grass. You can find school fish feeding on those juvenile pilchard schools. The key, you want to be on the water at dawn. Start your day throwing a saltwater assassin. There's a really cool color they just came out with, Watermelon Magic, that 4-inch sea shad on a 1/4 ounce jig head. It's been money right now. You can throw that or a small top water plug. You can also fish live shrimp, sand perch under a popping cork or a rattle cork, or you can free line a live pilchard on light tackle. Average sea trout right now is going to be 1 to 3 pounds. There are a couple good ones. Captain Eric Davis of Vero Beach sent me this one. It's one of the sea trouts I caught along a shoreline just south of the 25th Street Causeway. That fish ate a live pilchard.
Man, that's a stud trout, dude. Hey, tell me, you had any reports from Lake Okeechobee recently for the bass?
I have, and I was a little worried about the storm coming through. You know, it usually cools things down and it gets things going, but they said that despite the rain, the water temperatures on the lake are still super warm. So you really want to be on that water at dawn or even in the dark and casting by the time you're getting that false dawn. I was talking to Captain Nathan Shellen of OkeechobeeBassFishing.com. He said the fish have been way up in the Kissimmee grass. So the guys that are fishing shiners, you know, their baits aren't getting to the fish. You really want to throw lures. Start your day throwing shad colored, any of the things, vapor shads, dye dappers, white or brown colored logger toad will work good. Something with a white belly. Throw them way up in the grass, reel them back slowly over the open potholes. By 8 o'clock, that bite's going to shut down. It's time to move to the outside edges where the Kissimmee grass meets the bulrushes. And you just want to flip those areas with a watermelon, red glitter, or a June bug colored Bass Assassin Woompah Craw. Artificials right now are out fishing shiners, so that's the thing to throw. It's a 15 fish morning with the average bass 1 to 3 pounds, but fish to about 7 pounds right now. Bluegill are going to start spawning right now, so we'll start seeing them move over to the bass chasing the bluegill pretty soon.
Mike, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and you did a really good job, and I appreciate all your hard work this week for starting us off. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the TNH Marine hotspots for the East region. Mike says that inshore early morning tarpon in the St. Lucie locks use live mullet or saltwater assassin Houdini colored sea shad, and then offshore blackfin tunas, dolphins, and wahoos in 180 to 300 feet of water off of the Juneau Pier. Live pilchards, thread fins, or sardines are going to be your best bait.
All right, Rick, the Real Legends Central East region is now up. And Jim, I'm kind of getting that cup half full, cup half empty kind of feeling when it comes to the dolphin bite these days. What do you think?
Well, Brie, you know, like Mike's region, our region has been hit or miss so far this season. The Bell's Real Legends region can be really good at times, and so far this year, our best bite has actually been on the eastern side of the Gulf Stream for the guys that are running over looking for the yellowfin tuna and marlin. They've actually been doing better than the guys on the west side. But the guys on the west side, you know, one day you're in 400 feet, the next you're in 200 feet, the next you're in 100 feet, the next you're back out in 350 feet. Basically, we've even had days where the dolphin were in as shallow as 55 feet of water this month. So don't overrun the bite if the conditions look right. The best way to find the fish, obviously, is anywhere where you see flying fish kicking off. Throw out a small to medium-sized ballyhoo, chin-weighted. Throw a couple of them with some skirts on them, and drag around. That's gonna find and locate good productive areas. Once you find those productive areas, then you're going to want to try to slow down, try to pitch some live baits, especially if you've got rips, temperature breaks, or any kind of flotsam. We've had a lot of weeds, big patches of weeds, incredible weed lines, but if you don't see fish on them, don't just stop. Just control until you get that bite, and then, you know, once you find a bite, then slow down and isolate on that area and try and hone down on what's in that area, and you'll catch more fish that way. So most of our dolphin have been kind of small too. Most of them are running 5 to 10 pounds, but every once in a while we're getting one up into the 40-pound range. The other species that we've got offshore is sharks, and you know, sharks are interesting because more and more anglers are finding that they're a great way to get your rod bent and also bring some fillets home for dinner, because we have a lot of other species throughout the year that are shut down. Like the grouper is shut down half the year, the red snapper is shut down half the year. So if you want to put something in, you know, to substitute those in your fish box, a fine-tooth shark, black tips, bonnet heads, sharp nose, there's a lot of different kinds of sharks that are legal. You need to check your local state regulations to make sure that you can invite that particular species home for dinner in whatever particular size range it may be. But the one thing to remember is you have to gut them quickly and get them on ice. That's going to provide you the best quality fillets. Now, most of our coastal sharks are, you know, some of them are small, like the little sharp nose. They're only 4 or 5 pounds. Some of them are in that 50-pound class, like the black tips and the fine tooths, and there's plenty of larger ones out there. I've got a picture here of one we were pulling on just the other day on one of my charters, and there's some pretty good-sized sharks out there. This was a big lemon that was probably pushing about 8.5 foot, and not that one of those are coming home with us, but there are other ones that you can bring home.
Let's go inshore, bub.
Yeah, swinging inshore, the speckled trout, Rick, you know, pretty good right now. Live pigfish, fingerling mullet, they're working best for the fish over 20 inches. Now, I spoke with Captain Mike Mann of Fat Fish Guide Service up in New Smyrna, and he recommends working the edges of the mangrove islands and oyster bars in the northern Mosquito Lagoon with those particular types of baits. Captain Matt Lee was also fishing up in that area. He's from Code Red Fishing Charters, and he echoed exactly what Mike was talking about. He also mentioned there's some quality trout holding on the edges of the ICW channel from New Smyrna to Oak Hill around some of the docks and those channel edges and some of those residential canals. Down in the Banana River, it's really hard to beat a saltwater assassin 4-inch sea shad. The avocado red flake or the silver mullet patterns have been really good on the trout this week. Cast those lures around the mullet schools that you find out on the grass flats in the Banana River side. And most of those fish are running anywhere from 12 to 18 inches, but we're getting fish up to 25 inches this week. And then my final species is redfish. And redfish have kind of made a little bit better. You know, they've been a little better this week in the Real Legends region. Spoil Islands, oyster bars, and docks are great places to find them up in the northern end of the region. Spoil Islands and flats with mullet, like we just spoke with the trout, are great places in the southern end of the region. 2 tips that I want to talk to you about to increase your redfish hookup. 1, use small lures or live baits like shrimp or maharas or silver perch near the mullet schools. And 2, make sure you power pole down and don't make any noise. You want to be as quiet as possible when you're getting up around these schools, because some of those bigger trout, or some of those bigger reds, those 19 to 30-inch fish, are really spooky right now, especially with these calm mornings when we've had the last couple of days. Also, sign up for the CCA Star Tournament. Here's why. We already had the inaugural weekend of the tournament. We already had a tagged redfish caught in my region, and we have 17 redfish in my region with Volusia, Indian River, and Brevard counties that you can potentially win one of those huge prizes. So make sure, if you're going fishing anytime at all, get out there and sign up for the CCA Star Tournament. I've got a photo here. Trim the Yamaha up, put the power pole down. That's going to catch you more redfish.
All right, bud. Thank you so much, Jimmy. We appreciate it. Good pictures this week. We're going to go and take a look at the Rodan Marine hotspots from the Central East region. Inshore, he says, a mixed bag of redfish and trout in the northern Mosquito Lagoon, free line, live finger mullets, or pigfish along the shorelines and the bars with the bait fish schools. And then offshore, king mackerel near the bait pods in 25 to 40 feet of water, slow troll live baits on a wire stinger rig, Brie.
All right, well, ready or not, R&R is coming at you in so many ways. Up next, we're trolling the R&R Tackle Southeast region, but first, we're getting to pick the R&R Tackle brain himself, Ray Rocher for Academy Sports and Outdoors, rigs and techniques at the CCA workbench with Dave Farrell. Oh my goodness, Dave.
Yep, he's making me money. You know, I don't have to do anything tonight. He's gonna do all the talking, aren't you? So he's not gonna say nothing.
Aren't ya? Aren't ya?
I'm gonna be waking up in nightmares in 3 weeks from now.
Freaking out.
He never said a thing the whole time.
We'll be back.
There's my little man driving my Pathfinder.
Drive the bike.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. SiriusXM Marine. weather, fish mapping, entertainment. Academy Sports and Outdoors. Have fun out there. Real legends. Everything you need to live life local. Penn. Let the battle begin. Casa Vieja Lodge. 5-star angling in beautiful Guatemala. Stiffy. Innovators in shallow water performance. And Daiquiri Deck. Food, drinks, friends.
All right, we're here at the CCA workbench for the Academy Sports and Outdoors Rigs and Techniques, talking about probably the best game fish there is. You know, the dolphin fish, because he gets big really quick. He makes a lot of babies, so we can catch a lot of them, and they're really good to eat.
We call them dinner in a show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they like to jump, and we like to kill them and eat them. They're really good.
Yep.
So, how do you like to go chasing them? How do you get out and go after them?
I would say the first thing we do is get in blue water. You know, you can catch them in green water, but most of the, you know, the better numbers of dolphin are going to be out in that blue water, which might be a couple miles off the reef
They've
or
got
beyond.
that big eye for a reason. They like to hunt in clear, clean water.
Yep. And then once we get in that blue water, we want to cover ground. We're not going to go slow and troll a bunch of natural baits. Usually, we're going to troll a very simple spread.
Right.
3 baits, usually 3 lures. I brought a couple, MAHI magnet,
All right.
tuna magnet. So the MAHI magnet is a skirted lead head. Very important that it has a hook in the very back end.
All the way towards the back.
Yeah. When a dolphin and most game fish, when they try to eat a lure, they're trying to disable it. So they're biting the back end. Once they take the motor away.
Yeah. Most fish don't like to be touched on their tail.
Right. Exactly.
And you know that's why because they get eaten from their tail first usually.
Well, we rig a stiff rig tuna hook. Our catch ratio is usually improved by having that hook far back.
Right.
We also use a tuna magnet.
Yeah.
It doubles obviously catching blackfin tunas and so on, but it's a little less weedy, meaning it doesn't catch weed as much. I
Got
usually
that pointy head.
Yeah, I fish it usually in the long position. And if you notice, I don't put any in the outriggers because on an artificial, unless you're going to really tighten that clip so it doesn't really fall slack, I want the rod to bend kind of a light to moderate drag. Most important, clicker on.
Right.
Because you don't want to be looking forward for your birds and you got one on,
And
you don't even know it. Yeah.
Well, you know, when they eat that thing, they're not in the outrigger. You want them to come onto it.
Yeah.
You don't want it to fall back real slow and
Yeah.
give them a chance to spit it out.
Yeah.
So what do you put in the outriggers?
Ballyhoo. Like if you wanted to, say you're in some weedy conditions. If you notice, I got 2 different numbers, 75, 150, 150, 200. The
Right.
shorter number represents weedy conditions. Like you get into that area where there may be scattered weed or a weed line that's broken up. I'll fish at the 75 and 150 foot lengths on my short and long. And that's when you might add a ballyhoo. But the one challenge is the more lines you got out there when you do find a school of fish, getting all that stuff in.
Yeah,
But that's the fun
and especially
part.
if there's weeds because they get
Yeah.
messed up in the weeds, and then now
You need to be casting
5 or 6 on.
You know, you need to be casting lures, and or dead bait or live bait. I brought a swim bait that we make.
A casting bait. Once you get into the fish, you want to switch over from trolling,
Yep.
which doesn't have a great hookup ratio,
Yep.
to something that has a little
Yeah.
bit better hookup
I brought a few
ratio.
pictures of fish we've caught in the last month on our charter boats of
Do they have
you
those
know
pictures?
tunas and
There they go.
tunas and dolphin that we've caught on these. The one thing we like about this lure is it's a line through. So in other words, you
Slides
hook a
up.
fish that jumps like a dolphin or a tarpon or a snook. As soon as you come tight on them, that lure gets out of the way. Lure lasts longer. Most importantly, the weight of the lure is not dehooking the fish.
Right. It stays.
Yep. And that one picture that we
Away
showed
from the bait.
where there's a bait down the throat, believe it or not, that was side trolling a kite. That tuna ate it, locked up, and it was still all the way down the hatch. So they can be very aggressive feeders. And then the next thing that I think is super important is once you do catch the fish,
Right.
I like using a dehooker. Take a couple wraps on the leader. It's safer for the angler.
Especially if
don't
you're
get-
catching a lot of little ones that you're going to be putting away.
Right. And
putting them back.
It's
Put it
much
out.
quicker to dehook the fish, but most importantly, it's better for the fish. You catch a small dolphin, you grab them with a glove or a towel, you throw them in the water, you're squeezing them. It's not good for the fish.
Taking the slime off of them.
The best thing is to take if the hook is visible like that, you take a couple wraps on the leader, and all a dehooker's doing is getting that hook upside down. By pulling the dehooker up and the leader down, you're just
Flips it
taking that
over.
hook from this direction to that direction. Once you've got that hook locked upside down, couple shakes, he's overboard, best chance of survival.
Awesome. Well, you got anything else you'd like to say about these swim baits here?
Well,
or
no,
anything else?
I'm going to say one thing that I think is important for mahi. Put them in ice water, salt water and ice, because they're typically not the most firm fish. If you'll once you dehook them, it's a fish you're going to keep. Dehook them into the box. That fish the meat will be very firm and taste better, and most importantly, last longer in your refrigerator. And believe it or not, we even bleed them.
I got you.
Meat comes out beautiful.
There's another little tip. When you get a dolphin close and you're about to take him, don't lift his head out of the water, because once a dolphin's head comes out of the water, it likes to jump, and that's not an easy target with a gaff. And also, try not to gaff him from the middle of the boat. When a fish is swimming away from you, you know, trying to get him from when he's, you know, this way and you're trying to come in from here, that's no good. You want him on the side.
Keep the boat in gear.
Right, keep the boat in gear.
When you keep the boat in gear, you're presenting a good shot for the guy with the gaff.
And we want to hit him close to the head as we can.
That's
Leave that good meat.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, man.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
That was good.
Good job over there, boys. You don't forget, guys, you can go to rnrtackle.com and you can check out all the dehookers, sabikis, as well as all the cool artificial lures that Ray makes for inshore and offshore.
Yep, exactly. And the R&R Tackle Southeast region is known for the popular crowd. And I'm not just talking about the Thomas Flyer crew. Talk to us, Jimbo.
Hey, Brie. Hey, Rick, Dave. Hey, and hello, Ray. Well, you know, dolphin, mahi, dorado, whatever you want to call them, they're one of the most popular, if not the most popular fish for Southeast regional offshore anglers. Now, they can be found year-round, but late May through August are typically peak seasons. Now, we do catch plenty of mahis along the edge of the Gulf Stream on live baits drifted or fished under the kites that are generally intended for sailfish. But when we really target dolphin in the summer months, we'll be heading offshore in search of color changes, weed lines, floating debris, and bird activity, which is our most important sign that we look for. And a great pair of, or even a good pair of binoculars with a compass, that's one of our most valuable tools for locating terns and frigate birds that are working over these dolphins. Now, running and gunning is a great way to cover a lot of ground, look for fish, but with the price of fuel these days, pretty much forget that, at least on the flyer. And I find that you do miss a lot of stuff that you might otherwise see if you're going a little bit slower. Now, what we like to do is fast troll small to medium-sized lures at 8 to 10 knots while we're looking for signs of fish. And R&R Tackle, mahi, or tuna magnets, those are great lures to troll looking for those fish. Also, rig baits like ballyhoo and flying fish, they work great, but they do wash out pretty fast at 10 knots. And the key to catching mahis is to find them. And on most days, that means just covering a lot of water. Now, once we do locate the fish, we typically use 20-pound spinners, Penn 750 spin fishers, loaded with 20-pound test, 50-pound monoleader, and generally a 5/0 J hook. And we either cast or pitch our live pilchards or cigar minnows to those fish. Also, cut ballyhoo or bonita works well, and I like to use bonita because it stays on the hook good, plus we catch our own bonitas. And then lately, in the last few days at least, the fish have been anywhere from 5 to 12 miles offshore, mostly under birds and scattered grass. And if you're lucky enough to find any floating debris, that'll be holding the fish as well. And it's been mostly just single schoolies that we found the last few days, but there have been a few fish up to about 20 pounds that I've heard of caught, but not by me, unfortunately, in the past week. Now, I got a photo here, and this is a nice dolphin catch that we had earlier in the week from some guys from over in Pine Island.
Nice.
And then staying offshore, the blackfin tuna bite's been fairly good along the edge of the Gulf Stream, anywhere from 120 to 250 feet of water. Now, we've had a lot of green water in along the edge the last few days, but if we can find some blue water and north current, the bite should get even better. Now, live baits under the kite or on the drift is how we've been catching these big blackfins. They've been anywhere from 25 to 30 pounds. And we've been going 30 to 40 pound fluorocarbon leaders and 3/0 to 6/0 circle hooks. The best bite is going to be from around 4 in the afternoon until sunset. And if you can find enough baits and live chum with like pilchards, definitely help get those blackfin tunas fired up. Now, moving inshore, there's been quite a few tarpon in the 50 to 100 pound range, and they've been eating live crab, shrimp, and mullet in the inlets and also around the bridges of the ICW. You want to drift the live baits in the mouths of the inlets on both the incoming and outgoing tides in the early mornings and evenings. And then around the bridges and docks, fish the shadow lines on the outgoing tides with live and artificial baits. On the calm days, the tarpon, they're being found off the beaches of the entire region and also along the outside flats from Key Biscayne south to Angelfish Creek. And these fish are being sight fished with swimming lures, 4-inch jerk baits, and live crabs, mullet, pinfish, and even crab pattern flies. And then we got sea trout being caught in the south end of Lake Worth Lagoon and also in the north end of Biscayne Bay. These sea trouts are being caught around schools of small pilchards and glass minnows. Look for them on the grass flats in anywhere from 3 to 8 feet of water. Also look for bird activity to help locate those bait fish. You want to fish with small live pilchers and pinfish under a popping cork or a Gulf shrimp and a 1/4 ounce jig head. And most of the trout have been in the 15 to 20 inch range with larger ones mixed in. There's also been some nice mangrove snappers, jacks, and ladyfish mixed in with those sea trout.
All right, Jimbo, good report. Thank you. It's time for the What Are We Smoking fish tip from the Southeast region. Jimbo says inshore fish for a mixed bag of sea trout, jacks, mangrove, snappers, and ladyfish using small live baits on any of the grass flats holding bait. And then offshore, look for dolphin, blackfin tunas, sailfish, kingfish, and fish live baits along the edge late in the afternoon.
All right, attention anglers, catch the first CCA Florida Star Tigers Tag Dolphin and win $10,000 cash thanks to Beyond Our Shores and Wes Merton. Enter a photo of your catch on the 2022 official measuring device in the AFTCO Dolphin Division, and the first place winner gets a Yamaha 115 and Tigers Top Mount XD outrigger system. If you are dolphin fishing this summer, you need to be registered in the West Marine CCA Florida Star competition presented by Yamaha, and you could win $10,000 in cash or other great prizes. For more information, go to ccaflstar.com.
All right.
All right, the STARTRON Central West and GARMIN Panhandle regions are ready and waiting for you, so keep your lines in the water, and we'll be right back with your captains here on the Florida Insider Fishing Report.
Yay.
Woo! I love that I have to scream over our audience claps. Makes me happy. Bye.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by POWERPOLE, Total Boat Control. Berkeley, your fish, our science. Bahio Sunglasses, blue light blocking, radically clear lenses. Blue Water Outriggers, everything for your outdoor adventure. R&R Tackle, from our tackle box to yours. Florida Coast Equipment, your local Kubota dealer. Coast to coast, we've got you covered. And Garmin, plot your paradise.
So you know, Brie, they introduced, Yamaha a few years ago introduced a new 4-stroke 25, real lightweight motor, but we've done a whole bunch of new improvements, and I want you guys to check it out. The F25 outboard motor from Yamaha has been so popular, it has been the leader in lightweight portable power since its introduction in 2016. Weighing as little as 126 pounds, the F25 offers boaters both power and convenience in a lightweight and easy to manage package with features that customers love. Those features include the highest power to weight ratio of any 25 horsepower outboard, 4-stroke or 2-stroke. Weight saving battery less, electronic fuel injection designed to start with the first pull, convenient carrying handles, and resting pads for easier transportation and storage, and an external oil drain for easy maintenance. Now, Yamaha is adding 4 new models to the F25 lineup in 2022. First, Yamaha added the availability of power trim and tilt on a short shaft 25 models. Whether the remote control or the tiller operated, these 2 new 25-inch shaft models offer full trim and tilt at the touch of a button. That's the kind of convenience that many of you with smaller boats demand. The 6DR handle is shorter than the full-size 6X4 multifunction tiller handle, making the steering radius smaller, which is especially appreciated in limited space applications. It also has a built-in variable trolling RPM switch. Of course, the optional 6X4 multifunction tiller is still available as an add-on for remote control models. These features are what makes the F25 the most flexible and convenient portable powered outboard for the wide range of applications. So, you got any questions, you can go to YamahaOutboards.com.
There you go. All right, and if you want to find dolphin in the STARTRON Central West region, just copy paste plus 50 miles-ish and add a little help from Paige. Go for it, Captain.
You know what, Brie? You're really learning. You're learning your regions really well.
Thanks.
But, Rick, I got to say one thing real quick. Remember that 25 Yami that you bought from Tuppence back when we used to do those fishing tours? Is that thing still running?
Yeah, I bought it in 2008. Still running, got about 4,000 hours on it. You know, so
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that was before they even had a 4-stroke.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, you know, we may not be a dolphin destination here in the STARTRON Central West region, but we have a dolphin bite, and it's pretty much, if you want to target them, you need to get, like Brie said, out about 50 miles on out. And then all the same rules apply that you've heard the other captains talking about. Look for slow-flying birds, weed lines, structure change on your bottom machine, and, of course, bait schools, and you're going to find the dolphins. You can troll small lures like the Magic Swimmer or the Cutter, and always be ready to pitch a free line bait to a fish that might come swimming alongside the boat, especially if you've got a couple hooked up on lures. Another way we catch them here is wild grouper fishing over good structure in, say, 100 to 200 feet of water. Pay attention, because they'll show up on the scene there, and it's always good to have a flatline rod to throw at dolphin, cobia, whatever else might show up. I've got a photo tonight from our good friend, Captain Chris Seeger at Tightline Charter, with a nice dolphin they got aboard Tightline.
Nice. All right, what else you got, Paige?
We got gag groupers staying offshore. You know, the gag and the American red opened up last week, and the gag bite has remained good with some really quality fish coming in from offshore as well as in the ship channel around the Skyway. But the bite I'm talking about is the offshore bite, and it's 120 to 200 feet of water over good sharp ledges and bigger areas of hard bottom. Live pinfish and grunts if you can get them. Pinfish have been real easy to catch. Grunts a little tougher. I think they took a good hit in the red tide last year. Those are your best baits. But make sure you bring some frozen sardines as well. Standard bottom rigs, 3 to 4 ounces of lead should get the job done. And don't be surprised why you're bringing up a grouper or what you think is a grouper. It's a scamp, because I've gotten some good reports from Captain Jason Stock and also Captain Tim No that they've been getting scamps when they've been fishing for the gag. I've got a nice gag photo tonight. Speaking of Captain Tim No, I believe that man's name is Charles Franklin, with a big gag he got on Gulf Coast offshore adventures with Captain Tim No.
Nice.
Moving inshore, the tarpon bite, Rick, just like down your way, it's in full swing here. Guys are catching them in the day and the night. From the south, down around Boca Grande Pass, of course, but then up into Lemon Bay and Stump Pass and Little Gasparilla Pass as well. They've been backing up on all those sandbars on the outside edge of the pass. You can cast free-line crabs or corked crabs, and you can even throw the fly in the morning at the fish that are laid up. That purple and black fly that you like, Rick, is a really good one on those low-light conditions. And then when it brightens up, guys are switching over to a tan or even a white. The afternoon outgoing tides have been pretty much a no-brainer. Set up on the back side of the passes with corked crabs, and you're going to catch fish on that outgoing tide. I've got a really cool photo of Owen Cook. It's his biggest tarpon. He has landed one before, but that's his biggest tarpon to date that he's landed, of course, with Captain Stacy Capt. And my last species, all I can say, Rick, is since the speckled trout was the theme species a couple weeks ago, the trout fishing has been really consistent and really gotten good in some other areas. Down south on the deeper grass off Devilfish Key all the way to Cape Hayes Point, good trout fishing. And then up north around Stump Pass on the west side of the bay, from north of Stump Pass to say, pretty much even with the John Adams Bridge there. All those flats in there have had some really nice trout on them. The higher tides have been better. It's hard to not throw the Jaywalker 100 in a pilchard pattern or a white Berkeley stick shad 90. If you want to use live bait, live shrimp or pilchard under a popping cork, and I like to keep it down about 2 feet. I've got a nice photo tonight of a happy young angler. I couldn't find his name, fishing with me last week on the 26 Pathfinder with a real nice speckled trout.
Captain Page, you always amaze me with those big trout during a time of year when nobody else can find one. Good job, bud. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the daiquiri deck hotspots from the Central West region. He says that inshore, tarpon early in the morning throwing live free line crabs or thread fins at laid up groups of tarpon on the beach, or in the afternoon outgoing tide, you might want to drift with a cork crab. And then offshore, red snappers bite remains strong over the hard bottom areas and ledges in 110 to 140 feet of water. Corked crab. You know anything about corking your crab?
Nope, but you do.
I do.
All right, coming up June 23rd, come on out to South Siesta Key Daiquiri Deck in Sarasota from 6 to 8 to hang out with Rick, Jeff Page, and myself for some fish stories. What are we smoking fish dip? Frozen drink specials, of course, and more of Page's trout fishing adventures.
Yes, his stories and a little Jose Cuervo to top the night off.
And probably giveaways, because we always have some good
giveaways.
Well,
we're going to be giving it away for a week. We got so many things to give away.
Some goodies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So come on out. It's going to be a super fun time. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm ready to drink some daiquiris.
All right, man.
Okay, our Garmin Panhandle region has all of the Dorado catching tricks up his sleeve. So let's get Captain Pat Deneen on the line to give us the latest. Go for it, Patty Pants. It's been a while since
Hey, Brie, I tell you what, the dolphin fishing is best in the Panhandle from May through October. And as anywhere, floating debris or sargassum rafts and lines are great places to find dolphin. And this summer, the loop current has pushed well up into the DeSoto Canyon. There's an abundance of grass offshore and also inshore. I mean, it's washing up on the beach in, major numbers. But all that grass is making the dolphin fishing pretty good. The best places to find quality dolphin is going to be in pretty blue water and deeper water, basically beyond the 100-fathom curve. And in addition to the grass lines and debris, the Okaloosa out in the spur area are very consistent dolphin producers. You want to troll ballyhoos and small plugs, but you also want to have some live bait or cut bait available to catch a finicky dolphin, using spin and tackle. Actively fished jigs will also work great for dolphin, and it's a fun way to catch them. And there's a photo of a nice rack of dolphin caught this week on an all-day trip out of Destin aboard the Game On. And, man, that's a bunch of fish tacos right there, Rick. Staying offshore, the red snapper season opened for federally permitted charter boats the beginning of the month, and plenty of red snappers are coming to the docks. Unfortunately, recreational and non-federally permitted boats are going to have to wait till June 17th to get into the action. But with that being said, the red snapper population is very healthy, and catching them is no problem. You're going to find them on bottom structure, both natural and artificial. And in fact, even the very public places are holding red snappers. We were live baiting above the bridge rubble this past week for king mackerels and caught a 10-pound snapper on a wire rig. So the snappers are pretty much everywhere. To target the snappers, use live cigar minnows and herrings, 40 to 60 pound leaders on a slip sinker rig. Additionally, they can also be chummed to the surface with cut bait and then caught on a free line chunk bait. Plenty of snappers in the 8 to 12 plus pound range are being caught right now. So that's looking really good if we continue to have this really nice weather we're having. Moving inshore, the triple tail fishing in Apalachicola Bay and the beaches off St. Vincent Island, it's really heating up. You're going to find them on channel markers, crab floats, and other floating debris. The tide line outside the passes on the outgoing tide can also be a very productive place to find, free swimming triple tails. You're going to fish them with medium heavy spinning tackle and a live bait under a cork, 30 to 40 pound leaders. Your bait your hooks with a shrimp, pogie, or other small minnow. Cast your bait well past the triple tail. Bring your float back to them. Stop it when the float gets close to the fish. Let your fish find the bait. Triple tail and Apalachicola run up to and over 20 pounds, but most are less than 6 pounds. And then finally, inshore, the tarpon fishing has really started to heat up throughout the Panhandle region, especially in the eastern part of the region, basically Panama City to the Cape San Blas. The fish are migrating to the west along the outer bar and can be caught on flies, soft plastic swim baits, and live baits. Off of Destin, I like to use live cigar minnows, herrings, filters on 56-pound leaders and a 7/0 circle hook. The key is the presentation. Turn off your outboards, anchor up, drift, or trolling motor. Let the fish come to you. That's pretty important to getting the bite. And it's getting more and more crowded. So if you see someone working some fish, don't just run up on them. Give them a little bit of space or let them wave you into. Sometimes 2 boats can work a school of fish better than 1 boat. The smaller fish right now are running 50 to 7 pound. There's a photo of Melissa and Kyle Tyndall. They're from Montgomery. They were fishing this past week off of Panama City, and they caught that fine tarpon on a live cigar minnow.
All right, Pat, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the blue water outrigger hotspots from the Panhandle region. He says inshore, the gag grouper in state waters on natural and artificial bottoms fish pinfish on the bottom using slip sinker rigs. And then offshore, a lot of redfish on the residential docks in Navarre use live bait under a cork or cast gold spoons and soft plastic. I'll give you a little trick.
Yes,
if you go to the docks in Navarre and look for the ones that have the biggest boats, sailboats, or maybe a twin outboard boat, because they're pulling in and out, it makes it a little bit deeper, and that's where all the redfish are going to be. I know
Tricky
this.
Ricky.
I know this.
Ricky. Okay, look out for our ALTA equipment captain showing off the best of the best coming right up. But first, we're seeing what Dave Farrell is showing off for Taka Marine new products at the CCA Workbench.
Yeah, Rick sending me off on a trip this weekend. I think he gave me this bag.
No, he didn't.
So
yes,
sweet.
he did. He's a good
so
man.
sweet.
He's a good man.
I promise.
He's a good man.
That's Ricky.
I vote for Dave. We'll be back.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by ALTA Equipment Company, where uptime matters. Ameritrail, load, launch, relax. Rodan, set it, forget it, catch more fish. Fenwick, feel everything. Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey. Discover Crystal River, Florida. Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin. Best lures, period. And Maverick Boat Group, makers of premium boat brands Maverick, Hughes, Pathfinder, and Cobia.
Well, we're here at the CCA Workbench, and we're going to troll the edge with Taco Marine. And Dave, we got some good stuff tonight.
Yep, we got the cool AFTCO overnight bag there. You know, AFTCO makes great products, and they've made a really cool bag here. It's 24 inches by 16 inches. It's the perfect carry-on duffel bag. If you want to get on an airplane, it'll fit where you need it to fit. It's made out of 600D polyester.
Yes.
Yeah, got a great big main pocket there. It's all seam sealed. It's got a nice tarp base on it. You know, all the seams are sealed in there as well. It's got the YKK zippers on it. Yes. Real heavy duty zippers. One thing I noticed that they don't mention in here, these are metal. You know, this is where I always break these things. These little things always break right there.
Right.
But this one ain't gonna break, so you don't have to get that one. Oversized pulls on it. You know, you can carry it by the shoulder or your hand. You know, it's got nice big pulls on it. Give you plenty of room.
I like it because it's hunting ready.
Yeah, yeah, and
yes.
you know, you can put. It's got the end pocket over there. It's got a nice place to put some shoes. This whole bottom section has a clip-on buckle and a zipper, so you can zip out that and put dirty clothes and stuff in the bottom. You know, it's
or your stinky
shoes,
feet shoes.
Exact feet shoes. Yeah, if you're gonna wear feet. You might as well put shoes on them.
Yeah.
Anyway, AFTCO.com to get that back.
Now, I did say we had some really good stuff tonight.
Yes, you do.
And this is what I was referring to, my man.
Yeah. Some What Are We Smoking Fish dip. This is it's the dolphin show.
Right.
So we got the smoked mahi dip here, you know. It's a keto-friendly, gluten-free dip. Really got a lot of vegetables in there, you know. It's good. You can heat it up as well and make a dip with it that way. Just eat it on a plain cracker or you know, put some Parmesan cheese and heat it up and make a nice molten dip out of it. It got, you know, it's cream cheese, sour cream, all the good stuff, and scallions, and I love it.
And they also,
I love any kind of smoked fish dip.
They also make their own crackers. You have
right.
whole wheat choice,
right? Yeah,
or the gluten-free everything.
Those are really good crackers too, because they're very crunchy.
And where can we
and they hold up to when you know, the one bad thing about most crackers is you try to put them in fish dip, they break.
Yes.
These are nice and thick, they don't break.
I know. And we can go where to find it?
Where are we smoking?
What are we smoking?
With a I-N.
I-N,
Yeah,
not a G.
No G.
Okay.
Whatarewesmoking.com.
See, I always have to test them. We got the boss sitting over there.
Right.
Anyway, you can find a
almost messed
dealer
it up.
locator. Let's go ahead and talk about the Starbright.
These are some of my favorite Starbright products of all time. This non-stick deck cleaner, skid deck cleaner, has saved my life. You know,
You park your boat under a tree.
I do, and it gets oak tree stuff falling in it. But you know, I let my little dog run around on the boat all the time, and I've scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed. When you get this this stuff, you don't have to scrub anymore. I wet the boat down, just come by with this little thing and sprinkle it on, and then I just come by with the brush, and don't even have to push on the brush. Just lightly brush it, wash it off, and it's amazing. The non-skid deck wax also, you know, after you do this, you put the wax on there. It helps you out.
All right, so we got Mike from Caddy Can in. Mike, you guys have a new Caddy Can.
The Caddy Can XL.
Mike,
you can almost fit in there, Murphy.
Mike, I don't know about this, Mike.
It's blocking your shot.
I know. Now you get to see the better half, the roof. Tell us about the big Caddy Can. How many gallons is it, Mike?
26 gallons. It'll hold probably about 100 beer bottles, so.
Ooh, man, that's for the party barge.
That's a half day for the Canadian guys.
The other thing that's so cool, just like the big Caddy Cans, Mike,
is they all collapse.
They all collapse.
For storage.
Plus, we also have, what I love about this, Dave, whether it's a small Caddy Can or the big Caddy Can.
It's got a removable liner.
Removable liner that we can wash, simply wash it, rinse it out. I do it all the time, you know, and then they have the ability, again,
to collapse
it by using the Velcro strap that it goes on, and it stores away nice and small.
Right. Not only that, this one comes with the big straps on the back, so you can attach it to the stanchion on your fighting chair or your leaning post back in the back.
Mike, you can step back here. We'll allow you to come back into my zone. I'll let you in here. But the good thing about this is the strap that you have. What else? What other colors do we offer, Mike?
Right now, we're only offering in the black. The blue will be around October.
Put this in
blue
here.
in there?
Yes,
yeah,
blue will be in
look how
October.
easy that is. That's what I love about Caddy Can. Where are we going to go to find this, Mike?
Amazon. Go to Amazon. Just type in Caddy Can. It'll pop right up for you.
Okay.
I know. I use my little
That's
one.
simple?
These are $119.99, and these are the Caddy Can standard. These are $59.99.
The good part is, you guys, I noticed we've really beefed up this part to go around
for the bigger boats,
the bottom of the fighting chair, or you know, the expansions on the rod holders.
Correct.
Yes. All right, caddycan.com. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
That's a great Father's Day gift. Just want to say.
Just saying.
Nice. They are good.
What are we smoking in Caddy Can? That's a good combination right there.
Yeah, you can, after you get done with what you're smoking, you put it in the Caddy Can.
There you go.
Look how smart I got.
Perfect. All right, if you frequent the ALTA Equipment Northeast region manned by Captain Tommy Derringer, you already know how the Dolphin Bite has been pretty drool-worthy, and I just don't know how it could get any better, but I'm sure Captain Tommy D does. Right, Tommy D?
Brie, I don't know if it's going to get any better now,
It's
but
so
it has
good.
been a spectacular year of dolphin fishing here in the Northeast region. I mean, we had a really, really great run, and it still kind of is going on. You know, we do have a great mahi fishery here in the Northeast region, and although that run is about over, you still can catch some nice fish offshore. You know, typically, the best time of year to catch dolphin in my region is going to be April through about May, and like I said, but you can catch them year-round. Now, this spring, we had that awesome run with big numbers, and even more than the big numbers, we had a lot of really big fish. Now, we're past that, but you can still find some nice fish, and if you're going to look for them, look for a good tide change or color change, preferably with some stacked up weeds, anywhere from just inside the ledge out to even as deep as probably 1,500 feet, anywhere out there in the Gulf Stream. Now, as we get into the summer months, the dolphin are going to sometimes move inside a little and even near shore along some of the wrecks and reefs. I know a couple guys caught some in a little closer this week. Now, there's even some decent ones caught inside of 15 miles along those reefs throughout the summer. Now, some typical rigs are going to be, you know, a ballyhoo rigged with a 7/0 Eagle Claw circle hook, using 60 to 100 pound fluorocarbon, along with the 1/8 to maybe a 1/2 ounce chin weight. Now you can also run 1 or 2 chuggers or bubblers along with those naked ballyhoo. Now the cool thing about this time of year, guys, is when you're out there trolling, it's a really good mixed bag. You can find some tuna, some sailfish, some wahoo, and of course the dolphins that we're talking about. And guys, I've got a picture here. My buddy Captain Colin Phillips sent me this picture of Kevin Core with a big dolphin he caught on the fly rod up there in Jacksonville. That's pretty cool. I've never caught one that big on the fly rod.
Still drool worthy.
Do that.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. Now it's also offshore, guys. Rick, this is your fish, man. We're coming up on a great time of year for the snapper. The snapper are really going to be really good here in our offshore waters. The mangrove snapper are going to start to school up as they get ready to spawn over the next couple of months. You know, those mutton snapper, they've been chewing as well. And you know what? Those muttons seem to be extra large size this week. Now, the mangroves and those muttons are going to be over structures starting at about 120 feet, but the bigger fish seem to be out just a little bit deeper. Now, most anglers are going to chum those fish up with something like chunk sardines or pogies. And one of the best times, guys, to use that technique is actually in the dark at night. Now, if you do that, make sure you know what you're doing or bring somebody along that's done it before. Now, this full moon early next week should have them grouped up, and those mangroves should be fired up. The muttons are in those same areas, and it's always a nice bycatch to catch one of those guys when you're mangrove fishing. And speaking of muttons, I've got another picture here. Captain Jason Hadges from J-Hook Fishing Charters sent me this picture. That's his son Braden with a stud of a mutton snapper that they caught east of St. Augustine.
Nice.
Braden.
Now moving, that's a good looking fish. Now moving inshore, guys, the tarpon. Man, I'm excited. The bigger tarpon have started to show up in better numbers this week. We saw a lot of fish and some big ones today. The shrimp boats have started to work the coast, and that bycatch fishing behind those boats has really started to get going. Now, pogies have been showing a little better along the beaches, but especially in the north end of the region from Jacksonville to Bernardino. Now, look for those tarpon to be feeding on those pogies early in the morning, and then again right around dusk, or better yet, right after an afternoon thunderstorm. You know, right after those storms, they really start to get fired up and start feeding on those pogies. Now, I either like to float or free line a live pogie around those pods with a 7, even up to a 10-aught Eagle Claw circle hook, depending on that bait size, and a large soft plastic swim bait like that Saltwater Assassin 5-inch dye dapper. Man, that is also a great option. We actually hooked a couple on that today. It allows you to make quick, accurate casts to rolling fish in those same areas. So definitely don't forget to bring some of those out there with you. Now, also inshore, moving on to the redfish. The redfish bite has been great this week. You know, we have a great tide this weekend to target some redfish on topwater plugs at first light. Now, high outgoing tide this time of year is going to be my favorite time to toss a topwater plug, like that Berkeley Jaywalker 120 that Rick's holding there. That is a killer plug right there, man. Now, I know I say this a lot, but that's because this is where the redfish are hanging. Target the grass lines and the points where you see those concentrations of mullet. Now, I'm excited just talking about it because it's one of my absolute favorite things to watch is a redfish blowing up on a topwater. Now, we've also had some great redfish days just chunking a live or even a cut mullet up along the grass on that higher tide stage as well. Now, once the tide backs out, I'm going to have my clients toss some mullet along the oyster bars, but especially, again, look for where those finger mullet are schooled up. And guys, I've got one last picture here, kind of an artsy-fartsy one that I took this week of a nice redfish that we caught and released in St. Augustine right up along one of those grass lines.
You know, if that's artsy-fartsy, I want to be an artsy-fartsy kind of guy. Good job, Tommy. You always got the best pictures.
You have the best artsy-fartsy photos.
Thanks, guys.
All right, dude, we'll talk to you next week. It is time to take a look at the strike zone hotspots from the Northeast region. He says inshore, redfish on topwater at first light, toss a Berkeley Jaywalker 120 along the grass where you see schools of mullet. And then offshore, a good mixed bag of mangroves and mutton snappers in 120 foot of water and plus.
All right, coming right up, we're taking a bite out of the Discover Crystal River Northwest and Casa VIEJA Southwest regions. So stay hooked and remember to keep up with everything fishing in Florida. Make sure to head on over to our website, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and to see new fishing adventures along with reports, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Captain Rick Murphy. See you soon.
Bye.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by STARTRON. Start, run, and store with STARTRON. CCA Florida, the voice of recreational anglers for over 35 years. Fenwick, feel everything. Strike Zone Fishing. Diamond Fishing Products, our reputation is on the line. Berkeley, your fish, our science. Murphy's Law Sport Fishing. Book your trip today at murphyslawsportfishing.com. And YANMAR ASV, a leader in compact equipment.
Welcome back. The Discover Crystal River Northwest region has the Dorado dinner you want. It's just the how far you're willing to go part we'll just have to discuss with the Hagster. Go for it, Hag.
Yep, you're going to have to make a run to catch those big ones on my coast. And in my region, they can be found throughout the region. Making a long run is part of it. In the summer months, some of those smaller chicken dolphin will get in from 70 to 100 feet of water. And everything everybody's talked about so far, keep an eye out for weed lines, any kind of floating flotsam, birds and bait are always an indicator. Fish that are less than 100 feet of water are going to be those smaller chicken dolphin. When you're out there fishing, make sure you have a rod with a light spinning rod with a 1/4 ounce bucktail jig just in case those show up. Once you get off the shelf, we got those bigger dolphin. Trolling any kind of soft head and pink and white, blue and white works really good with or without ballyhoo. Those chickens are what we mostly catch, and having that 1/4 ounce jig head is a must when you're getting offshore to go fishing. Just have it handy. And I've got a photo here of Matt Carter with our average size dolphin, which is a little bit bigger than normal. We usually get them in that 15 to 20 inch range, but that's a nice little catch on this coast for us. So I'll show a picture of it.
All right, tell me about the big nasty. What's he doing these days?
Rob Davenport, he's been catching speckled hine, which of course is the Kitty Mitchell. One on my hit list that I have not caught, deep water grouper. You're going to look for these fish in anywhere from 350 to 400 feet. Beautiful species of grouper. 100-pound fluorocarbon leader, 16 ounces of lead, 10-aught circle hooks, live and dead bait works for these. Also, butterfly jigs is also a good way to catch them. And I've got a photo here of Chris from the East Coast with a beautiful Kitty Mitchell he caught with Captain Rob.
Wow, that is a beautiful fish. All right, let's go roll. What else you got, dude?
Moving inshore, Captain Jim Pollard, Big Daddy Sport Fishing out of St. Pete, is targeting redfish on the medium tides, throwing cut-up whitebait underneath mangrove. He's using a small split shot about 6 to 8 inches above the hook and pitching right underneath the mangroves. Moving up the coast, Captain Mario Costello, Tall Tales Charters out of Plantation Inn on Crystal River, is also reporting a good redfish bite. He's fishing around the mangrove islands and keys from Crystal River to Homosassa. He's working the mangrove islands that have active mullet schools around the points and overhanging branches. He's using both pinfish and live select shrimp free line on a 4/0 circle hook. Middle of the incoming tide's been best for him. The bigger redfish have been eating the pinfish, and those slot-sized redfish have been eating shrimp. Right now, the redfish in his region are ranging anywhere from 20 to 32 inches. And I've got a picture here of Nicole Van with a nice redfish caught on a recent trip with Mario.
What a beautiful day. What's all that slick water about?
We're actually getting some of that right now, and it's kind of nice, but it is hot right now.
That's all right. Your shade fin's on the way, so
Moving
don't
up
worry.
The coast a little bit, Captain John Lane with JB Charters reports a good speckled trout bite right now. He's been fishing the bayside around the island and passes using a popping cork with live and dead shrimp. The best bite has been at the top of the outgoing tide and the top of the incoming tide. And I've got a photo here with a beautiful Apalachicola trout from Captain John.
All right, Hag, give me a tarpon update. I know that you're in the south part of your region, actually a little further than your region south, but tell me what's happening in regards to your tarpon season right now. They going north, south, they gone offshore? What do you got?
Right now, most of our fish, and today especially, the tides have changed a little bit, and it's sucking all the fish to the pass. They're getting ready for this next tide. This next moon tide's going to be coming up, and they're getting ready to gorge themselves on crabs. So all the fish pulled from the south, pulled from the north, came off the flats, came off the beaches, and all poured into the pass tonight and later on this afternoon. anticipating that tide. So be ready this coming up week, to be fishing crabs in here and up in my region in Tampa and the St. Pete region in Egmont, to be different crabs out in the pass, and they're going to be out there eating, and then they're probably going to go offshore and break off in little groups and do some spawning.
All right.
That's me.
Play by play.
Hey, that's
Love
it. That's what I want to do. All right, dude. We'll see you later. Thank you so much. We're going to check out the Ozella Key Marina hotspots from the Northwest region. He says tarpon on the beaches and passes around the Skyway Bridge. Use crabs or pinfish, free line or under a cork. And then offshore, mangrove snappas on the high relief structure in the lower half of his region, 25 to 60 feet of water. And don't forget
it. All right, now up is our CASA VIEJA Southwest Region Captain Ronnie Houston with the weekend report that will have you on the edge of your seat. What are we catching, Ronnie?
Well, like always, it's a pleasure being here. And dolphin is not something we do on a daily basis, although it can be done. But the permit bite still remains to be steady all throughout the region, and primarily targeting fishing wrecks, towers, and artificial reefs, whether it's north or south in the region. Now, it can be as close as 5 miles or as far out as 30 miles. Now, for people to understand what these wrecks and locations are, most wrecks and all these locations are public knowledge. It's just about Googling up on the Southwest region and then getting out and putting in the time. The baits are going to be primarily the live crabs. That's the predominant bait. Depending upon the size of the crabs, you can use anywhere from 3/0 to 5/0 tow-car circle hooks, 30 to 60-pound fluorocarbon, and that's going to depend how close you are fishing close to the structure. And all you're going to simply be doing is getting in these areas, free-lining or just a little bit of weight once you figure out where these fish are on the water column, whether on top or you see them under the surface or following your bottom finder. And I got a prime example of a guy who's been on the permits pretty good down here in the south end of the region. That's West Bedell. Anybody who's wants to learn how to catch these fish, contact Captain West Bedell. Still on the offshore side, the groupers. That's been great also. Captain Mike Avenel reporting good catches, especially after the passing of the storm over the weekend. Believe it or not, when that storm came through, the following day, offshore and inshore, slick calm conditions. Water remains stained, but the seas are calming. 140 feet is what you want to concentrate on, anywhere from Marco to Fort Myers Beach. You primarily want to concentrate on hard bottom, and you want to pick some good current. That's what the fish are really biting on. But also when you get out there, you want to alternate baits to see what the fish are really keyed on. 3 guys in a boat, use a couple different baits, see what the bigger fish are hitting. Cut herring, sardines, or squid. But also having live pinfish or cigar minnows, as well as trying to locate the fish. You can drift with the baits, the live baits, or simply use bucktails with squid. And depending upon how quick that current's moving and how deep it is, 6 to 10 ounces of weight. And I got a nice example of a limited groupers recently brought in while fishing with Captain Mike Avenel. The inshore report, that's changing a little bit now with all the rain we're getting. Snook, with the passing of the storm over the weekend with large amounts of rain, it has picked up the bite in the Everglades backcountry, along with the feeder creeks anywhere from US 41, leading out into the middle bays anywhere from the Barron River to Buttonwood Bay. Now, a variety of our officials are working well, like the Berkeley Chapo and the Cane Walker, and the primary colors right now are going to be the black and gold of the bone due to the tannic water. You can also use the Bass Assassin Dye Dappers and Snowstorm, or a variety of chugging lures. But if you can get in the mouths of some of these creeks, live pilchers chummed up in the mouths of the creeks. But most important, the key thing is going to be here, water flow on turns and creek mouths. Once you find those flows around those turns and creek mouths, these fish are going to be schooled up waiting for that bait coming from the north to the south. Got a prime example of some nice snook being caught with Captain Derek Tappan down in the Florida Everglades. Last species is going to be the redfish. Here we go again with the freshwater flow. It has helped the bite in the areas that were really clear up in the northern end of the region, but now it's changed the color and the water salinity. Matlacha, Smokehouse, Galt Island, along with Pine Island Marina to Regula Island. Early morning or the lower stages of the tide, you want to concentrate on top water walk the dog lures on your lower stages of the tide, as well as cut baits in potholes on the lower stages. Now, on your higher stages, you want to use cut and live baits under the mangroves, and I strongly recommend in the heat of the day, concentrate on the deeper shorelines and the deeper points with current. I got a couple nice pictures of some redfish that were just caught up in the northern end of the region. Things are going to start changing now with the color of the water and the salinity. We're getting a lot of rain every day. Keep up with the reports. We'll keep you up to date.
So Ronnie, quick question for you. As the water changes colors, why don't you tell people what you generally do, whether it's a hard plastic or a soft plastic, in color changes? What would you typically throw? You like chartreuse or you want something more dark?
Well, typically with the color changes, I like to use the brighter colors. Number one, the noise and the hard baits, and I like to use something people don't normally use. The pink, orange, hot chartreuse, some colors like that, something really bright so these fish can really see these lures as they hear the noise. But also, if you want to use simple bucktails, something like a pink, a yellow, or a white bucktail in that tannic water will also work with tip shrimp, the scent, and then this color will get the fish to bite. All
right, bud. Thank you so much. Great report. We're going to take a look at the catty can hotspots from the Southwest region. Ronnie says inshore tarpon on the beaches and passes, Fort Myers Beach to Stump Pass using live crabs, pinfish, and a herring. And then offshore to Kobe and Permit, Lossman's River to Marco, fishing wrecks and towers using live crabs or any live bait, Brie.
All right, moving right along, celebrating its 40th year, the Key West Marlin Tournament, 40th, featuring $50,000 in guaranteed cash prizes, is planned for July 20th through July 23rd at Stock Island Marina Village in Key West. In addition to spectacular fishing and prizes, the event features nightly festivities, including cocktail parties, dinners, and an awards banquet. Entries are limited to 75 boats, so get registered now at keywestmarlin.com. But now get ready to cast and catch in the YANMAR ASV's Keys region. Coming up next, only on the Florida Insider Fishing Report, MAHI style.
The Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Shallow Sport. Penn. Let the battle begin. The Florida Keys and Key West. Come as you are. The IGFA. Every fish, every water, every angler since 1939. Island Lures. Tournament Tackle. Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy. Fishing for adventure. And Taco Marine. Troll the Edge.
POWERPOLE anchors have many tools. They are not just for fishing. I love it when I pull up to the beach or the sandbar and see a nice flats boat, bay boat, even a pontoon boat pull up, deploy their shallow water anchor, and enjoy their day out here at the island. Here are a few tips to help you choose the right spot to deploy the anchors and enjoy your day at the beach. First thing I need to do is decide where is the best spot to anchor the boat. I like to always take into account which side of the island or sandbar has the most boat traffic, which side of the beach or sandbar has the wind or the waves rolling in. I'm basically trying to find that nice calm spot. Lastly, I need to park the boat so that if the tide comes in or out, I can adjust the boat throughout the day so that I don't get stuck. After I have chosen the perfect spot, I like to nudge the nose of the boat up to the sand and deploy my POWERPOLE shallow water anchors. I always take out the rope and chain and throw it off the front and secure the bow, just in case we walked away and a big wave or the tide were to come in. Throughout the day, I pay attention to the tide and readjust the boat based on the water level, but with the POWERPOLEs, that is easy because all you have to do is hit the up and the down button, and that's your POWERPOLE tip.
Yeah, you gotta have that anchor out the front, I'm telling you.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of people can benefit from this POWERPOLE tip video.
Yeah.
Sandbar days, you never know what could happen.
I know that you did.
I did. Okay, there's no better way to close out your day than catching your limit of mahi, and there's no better way to close out our region reports than by talking with our YANMAR ASV Keys region with Captain Sarah Stanzik. Let's hear it, Sarah.
Hey everyone, here from the YANMAR ASV Keys region. If you're here in the Keys visiting as a tourist and someone says the word dolphin, the majority of people, especially tourists, think that we're talking about flipper and porpoise, but we are not. We're talking about dolphin fish here when we usually say that. So we refer to them as mahi or dorado, and that's how you're going to see them on the menu when you're walking the docks at the marina. It's not dolphin flipper, it's dolphin mahi dorado. So that's just one thing to know. But we're approaching the summer months now, and it's getting into our peak mahi season here in the Keys. We've already been seeing decent numbers of them offshore. Good sign. The days have been hit or miss, so like one day it's good, the next day it's not. It's not consistent yet, but it is going to get better, hopefully. If you're going out to target mahi, you just want to head offshore and look for weed lines or debris floating. Look for those warbirds diving down on the bait. Have a variety of your own bait ready, including live and cut bait options. If you hook a fish to a mahi, leave them in the water near your boat on the line, and a lot of times there'll be the whole school of fish will come over to the boat to stay near that one mahi you have hooked, and you'll catch a lot more that way. So that's a good tip. They're really good to eat. They're fun to catch. They have beautiful colors. They jump. Like, they're the all-around sport fish of the Keys, if you ask me. Here's a nice picture of a really pretty lit-up bull mahi caught by my husband, Nick Stanzik.
Little pretty mahi. You heard her say that?
God.
All right, well, I want to catch more little pretty ones just like that. Okay, Sarah, for the record. What else you got for us offshore?
We got mutton snappers. That's been pretty hot the past week or two. We'll typically target them on deeper waters off the wrecks and reefs and other type of structure. Somewhere if you head out to 100 to 200 feet deep and use pilchards, ballyhoo, or pinfish on like a 5/0 circle hook, 20 to 30 foot long leader and a 1 pound weight depending on the current. They're really fun to catch. They pull hard for their size, stick their heads. They're really good to eat. White, flaky meat. Some of the best white snapper meat you'll have comes from mutton snappers. And here's a picture. We went out on the X3, and that's my brother holding a nice mutton snapper we caught.
Boy, these Stanziks are just raping the Keys reefs as well as offshore. That's what it's awesome about them. All right, let's go inshore. What do you got for me inshore?
I'm going to talk about bonefish, one of my favorites. I got some reports of down south towards Key West and Summerlin. There's been a lot of fish on the flats there. The warmer weather is upon us now, and it's really good bone fishing into the summer. A lot of these fish we're catching in the Keys are on the smaller side, but they're still really fun to catch, and they're just going to be the next generation of big fish, hopefully. They love live shrimp. That's a favorite bait to use, but they're also fun and challenging to throw a fly at. Here is a fish that was caught by Captain Scott Brown down in Sugarloaf Key.
All right, that's the size. That's the next generation. All right, tell us about the sharks.
And sharks. If you come to the Keys and you want to catch a shark, I would give you a 100% chance of success. They're easy to target with some fresh cut up bait. There's many different species, from like larger lemon and bull sharks to light tackle little bonnet heads on the flat. Or even offshore, you can go target during the certain times of the year, like big giant tiger sharks and stuff like that. But there's lots of different options. They're really fun. You can catch them easily from the bridges and the shoreline too. So you don't have to have a boat to go get sharks. Like, you can cast a hunk of meat off the side of the road and catch one. Guaranteed. I can catch you one in 5 minutes. If you want to go do that, call me. Stop by any local marina or the local docks, and you can see the sharks just cruising around too and hanging out and getting a snack at the marina. So here's a picture of our little troop of sharks that hang out at Bud and Mary's.
Nice. Hey, tell everybody, if they want to go fishing with you or one of the guys at Bud and Mary's, where can they go? Where would you suggest the easiest route to find you guys?
If you want to book a guide through Bud and Mary's, you can just go to budandmarys.com, and you can see all the boats and guides are on the website there. But all in the Florida Keys, if you just Google like Florida Keys fishing charters too, there's a really good network of just online access throughout the Florida Keys. I know the Florida Keys website and the Chamber of Commerce's all have information for that too. So those are all places where you can get all good information.
All right, well, good stuff. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the shallow sport boats hotspots from the Florida Keys. Inshore, bonefish have been plentiful lately with lots of summer-sized fish around the flats, but are still great fun to catch. They're a bunch of those little guys. Look for the fish waking or mudding and cast your bait in front of them. And then offshore, groupers are being caught on the reefs, so head out anywhere in 30 to 100 feet deep, target them on the bottom on some structure like a wreck, or drop down on the reef, or troll maybe even some diving plugs, Brie.
Wow. Well, before we close it out in paradise, let's see what tournaments are going on in the Florida Keys. So, first up, proceeds from this exclusive challenge benefit the Don Hawley Foundation, designed to assist Florida Keys inshore fishing guides during times of need. Next, cash and prizes are awarded to first through third place finishers, and for the largest dolphin caught in this tournament of female angler teams. And this tournament has been rescheduled due to weather. Anglers are to vie for more than $35,000 in cash and prizes, including $20,000 for the largest dolphin weighing over 50 pounds. And finally, anglers can join a new fun fishing tournament to help raise funds for the Save Alligator Reef Lighthouse Restoration Project. For more information on Keys tournaments, go to flakeys.com. All right, well, we're ready to go catch all of the Dorado, mahi-mahi, dolphin, fish so nice. You named it twice. So get out there and catch them this weekend, but stay docked a little longer because we're telling you all about our themes for next week. Coming at you when we come back. Next week, we're talking wading, so make sure to tune in. Can't wait for that. I just want to. Did you hear that? Well, you know, I can't help myself.
Of course.
So we've had an amazing live audience tonight. We've had What Are We Smoking Fish Dip in the house, looking good over here in the corner. We've got amazing mahi outfits with all the colors. We've got Caddy Can, who also has the colors going on. But what is this? What are we? How do I make him go?
This is the new Ricky Barbie doll.
That's something.
Yeah. It says it all right there. Don't peel no shrimp tonight because we're bringing home the
snappers. How could you miss that on new product?
I
don't know, man.
That is
the fish.
That's not for sale,
awesome.
is it? Is that for sale?
I hope it's for sale.
It's not for sale. You
go to Amazon.
You can't buy
Put
Rick
some
Murphy.
pins in it.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys. There goes the hat.
She broke my head.
I did not. His hat fell off.
The hat fell off.
Gotta rub the head for good luck.